as the high priest, because now, 5 days later, he will turn 30 years old and can enter the priesthood and can fulfill the priesthood after the order of Melchizedek. Not after the Levitical priesthood, but the order of Melchizedek. And so, there it is that he is transfigured before them. Now, Peter, James, and John, seeing this, they say, Lord, it's good for us to be here. Let's stay here and build 3 tabernacles. One for you, one for Elijah, and one for Moses. Now, why are they saying that? Because they realize the very next day, on the 11th, they are going to have to leave where they are. They are going to have to get up to Jerusalem very quickly by the 14th and build their sukkahs there, their tabernacles there. Because it is required by the Torah that you do go up to the feast, that you live in a sukkah for 7 days. But they know that up in Jerusalem, there is trouble. There is danger there. So they say, it's good for us to stay here. It's good for us to be here. Let's build 3 sukkahs here. And then a voice speaking out of the cloud says, this is my beloved Son. Listen to him. You guys have some really stupid ideas. Because we see that the Messiah takes them up, and they go up to Jerusalem. But on the way up, the Gospels record this incident that takes place. They are going up to Jerusalem. They are still 36 kilometers north of the city of Jerusalem, and he sends his disciples into a city of the Samaritans, Shechem, to buy some provisions for the journey. It's still 18 hours on foot up to Jerusalem at this particular point. He stays outside the city again. James and John this time go in, and when they go in, it records in the Gospel of Luke that when those Samaritans, when those Gentiles, and remember, these are the Gentiles, the Samaritans that 4 months earlier confessed that he was Messiah. They spent 2 days. 2 days with those Gentiles. The Messiah spent 2 days with them, and now he is going back up to the feast at Jerusalem. When James and John go in there, it says that those Samaritans, those Gentiles, knew that he set his face as though he would go to Jerusalem, and they refused to sell anything to James and John. James and John were absolutely livid. What is going on? Those Gentiles who had that time, 4 months earlier, confessed that he was Messiah. Now, when they realize that he is not going to stay with them and celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles on Mount Gerizim and do their religious rules and rituals with them, and how they have changed the Torah, they have concocted their own religion, and when they realize that he's not going to stay with them, but he's going back up to Jerusalem, they refuse to sell him anything. James and John come back, and they were as mad as hornets, and they said, Lord, shall we command fire to come down from heaven and toast their worthless carcasses? The Lord said, calm down, boys. You don't know the spirit you're of. Follow me. Come on, follow me. His disciples followed him, but those Samaritans didn't. As we were sitting with the Samaritans in their homes, beautiful homes like you don't see anywhere else in the land of Israel, 3- and 4-story stone homes, beautiful, and brand new cars. The prosperity of these Samaritans is unlike you see any place else in the land of Israel. But yet, because they did not follow the Messiah, and they kept on with their own rules and regulations, doctrines and commandments of men, their own government religion that was authorized by Shalmaneser so many generations ago, that what has happened, they've isolated themselves. There are about 600 Samaritans that live up there. And even though they're beautiful people, yet their families consist of 4 or 5 or 6 boys and 1 or 2 girls. Every family. It's way out of balance and has been so for hundreds of years. And the majority of the children are deformed. They're twisted in body, they're twisted in mind, and the 3 sons of the high priest, only one can carry on a coherent conversation. There is so much inbreeding that's going on that they have produced bad fruit. They did not attach themselves to the Messiah, and they did not produce any good fruit. Oh, they have prosperity. They are prosperous people. But the fruit is twisted and gnarled. It was quite some time ago that I was speaking at a Messianic synagogue, and a woman and her husband came up to me before the meeting began, and she said, I've had a vision. I really feel I should share it with you immediately. And I said, okay, please. And so she said, I saw the Lord. He was standing off a bit distance from me, and he didn't say anything. He was dressed in all white, his white jalabia, and he was a ways away from me. And he didn't say anything, but he just... And he turned and he walked quite a distance, and he looked back over his shoulder again, and he walked further off in the distance, and then one last time he turned, and then he turned around and walked and never turned around again. And as soon as she said it, there it was. The Lord is saying, come on, follow me now. Follow me. I want you to leave your dead religious traditions and follow me. I want you to forget about what men have said about me and follow me now. Come on, follow me. Let's go. And he turns around and walks quite a ways, and then he turns around, looks over his shoulder to see if anyone's following, and again, come on, follow me. Follow me. And then, follow me. I'm going to open the eyes of my people Israel. I've spent 2 days with the Gentiles. I'm going to open the eyes of my people now. The blindness in part is going to be lifted from them. I need you to provoke my people to jealousy. Will you help me? Come on, get rid of your filthy, stinking garments of paganism and follow me now. Come on. And he turned around and he walked quite a distance, and then one last time. Are you going to follow? Come on. Because if we're not on his heels then, if we are not tight to him then, he is going to turn around and he is going to go back to his people and open their eyes, and we are going to be left in the dust unless we are willing to leave Mount Gerizim, unless we're willing to leave the doctrines and commandments of men, unless we're willing to leave those who are twisted by their own choice and perverted and do not bear any good fruit. Unless we're willing to do that, we'll be in the same position as those Samaritans who said, I'm not even going to say anything. If you're not going to play church with me, Jesus, if you're not going to do it the way we want it done, we're not going to hang around with you. We're not going to follow you. We confessed you as Messiah, but you either do it on our terms or we're staying here on Mount Gerizim. We've got a religion, we're happy with it. This is the point in time in which we are right now.